Hello everyone, it's Lel, and it's time to talk about OTONA PreCure episode 11, PreCure Fu Bloom, Kibo no Chikara, Power of Hope, so many names. I'm recording this in a different setting because my cell phone support broke and I recorded with my cell phone. So I'm sorry, I'm recording with my webcam today. Just for this video, I'll get a new one before the others. So, what a huge episode this was. I was breathless. There was a point that I wanted to cry of emotions. It was simply everything. But there's a lot to talk about, so let's start. The first thing that I want to talk about is Belle. In this episode, we see a couple of things about her. And I feel like the most important thing about her for this episode is that in the episodes prior to this one, she was saying that the city would have been destroyed very fast. She comes from the future. But in this episode, we discover that she is the reason why the city is being destroyed. Girl, you saw the future. What's going on? What's happening to you? Are you a little insane? But there's another thing that I want to talk about. She is the protector of the city. We got to see a little bit of her past as well. She's the protector of the city, so she has to protect it. And she sees that the humans are actively destroying the environment. And because of global warming, the temperatures are going to get higher and people are going to leave the city. And the narrative of the show, there are two ways of seeing this. And I'm going to start talking about the narrative of the show. The narrative of the show is basically saying that the reason that this is happening is because of the humans and our habits. There is absolutely no mention of big corporations and how the corporations treat the environment. Like, there is absolutely no talk about that. And it's weird to me because I feel like the show is trying to take a stance. And also because that it's OTONA PreCure. It's not regular PreCure. They are able to touch on certain topics here that they're not able to touch on regular PreCure. Like the target audience for this show is a little different, so they could go into certain dialogues. But at the same time, the narrative that we are seeing is Belle's point of view. So I'm going to play the devil's advocate here and say that this is how Belle sees the situation and not how the narrative of the show is trying to paint the situation. I don't know. I feel like it would have been way better if the show was tackling those issues in a different way, because we as humans, like those people from this town, what can they do? What is our power as humans of a society, like as regular members of our society? If we have to save water, if we have to save energy, if we have to save the environment, can our individual actions save the environment? We know that it's not possible, that this is not really what's hurting the environment in the big scope of things. So, I don't know. I felt that it was a conversation that was lacking a little bit. But, Belle took the girls to a different dimension, and there was a starting fighting scene. This starting fighting scene was cool. There were some nice moments. We had some nice touches here and there, and it was very funny when Kira Mint was using Emerald Saucer, and then she used the Emerald Saucer as a shield. Girl, this was something that they could have differentiated here, and like this was a detriment of the Go-Go season. The girls, when they became the Go-Go versions of themselves, the ES5 girls, they could not use the attacks from the ES5 times. And why not? Like, why couldn't they have both attacks? It would make the fights in these type of scenarios a bit more dynamic, They could have still have their previous attacks as well. I feel like it would make the fights a little bit more interesting. But the fights were good. This starting fighting scene was cool. We could see them fighting a little bit. We could see the stock footages. Some of them are nice, some of them are not. But we could, and it was okay. While they were fighting, we could see the clash of ideas from the secondary characters or the other main characters from the respective seasons. So we have Coco and Nuts and Michiro and Kaoru. This scene to me was bad. I did not like this scene. Why? Michiru and Kaoru, it seems that they forgot what they did with Michiru and Kaoru already. Because Michiru and Kaoru, as it was stated in this scene, are beings that come from Darkfall. So they were villains in their seasons, and they became good. It was very funny. We had Bunby joining and saying, "Oh, I was a villain too." I loved it. But Michiru and Kaoru in Otona, they said before that they started being VTubers. They started doing Dark Knight Light because they wanted to show the good part about the humans. Because they learned that in Splash Star, when they were kids in Splash Star, it was a long time ago. In this episode, they start seeing what Belle is doing, and they're like, oh, maybe that's it. Maybe the humans have to be destroyed. They're the ones destroying the Earth. They have to be destroyed. Girl, it makes no sense for them to act like this after everything they've gone through in Splash Star and after what they've shown us in Otona. It was awful. But I think that they did it because they wanted to give another argument. Why would you destroy all the humans when there are good humans? Why should everyone pay the price? There are humans that are very good. There are humans that help people, and so on. So this argument was brought by Coco and Nut, and they talked about. They were specifically talking about the Yes Girls because they are the ones that are good people, and they did everything that they could to bring a new tomorrow for people, and they protected everything with all their might. I understand this, and I do like this idea. I just feel like Otona could go a step further in this because Otona, as I said before, Otona has touched on certain topics that are very cool and that PreCure is not able to do in their regular shows. But, sometimes they do. And, Otona is really going for the character-driven part of the show. But there's one thing. When you're talking about humans like this, I don't like this idea that, there are bad humans and there are good humans. I don't know if I like it, because I feel like we could go and we could bring a more adult argument to this topic. That are good humans with bad actions, and there are bad humans with good actions too. Good humans can make mistakes and can act bad. And bad humans can have their good moments and can act good and can help people. It's not black and white like that. Ooh, black and white. Oh my God. But it's not black and white like that. In real life, it's not like that. And I feel like Otona could have brought this to us, And while the fight went on, Belle could not hold herself back. She was very angry. I loved this shot. It was so cool. And she ended up creating this big shadow that traversed from the dimension they were in to our current dimension. She couldn't even control it, and it ended up attacking her, who was protected by Cure Dream. And here I started getting a little emotional because this is a very Cure Dream thing to do. And so far in Otona, we saw individual fights or at most duo fights or trio fights, but mostly duo or solo fights. And in here, it's a group fight, finally. It's something that we get in PreCure regularly after the team is formed. And in Otona, there was no time for that, and it's finally time. But in here, the girls were losing hope. The girls were desperate. The girls were already scared of that big monster. And we had Cure Dream. And at this moment, I could feel that feeling of what Cure Dream gives to me. I can really understand why Cure Dream is one of the most popular cures. I can definitely get it. When I saw this scene, my heart warmed up so much. It was so classic Cure Dream. This is such a classic Cure Dream moment. I loved it so much. I was living for this. This was gorgeous. Perfection. It's like, this is PreCure. This is what PreCure is all about. What a moment this was. And then another fighting scene started. This one was even cooler than the first one. It was very fast, but it was so cool. And I think we even had a little Yoshiyama Yu moment. I loved it. And we could see them, shielding themselves against the attacks. And I also enjoyed the Cure Rouge or Ring's phrases here, because she was talking about the fact that sometimes we try very hard, sometimes we try our best, and we still fail. And we even had Kurumi joining in and saying like, oh, some things in the human world make no sense, but I still like it, I still want to protect it. Very cool. And Belle also started seeing that there's good in humans. There's and I forgot to talk about something about Belle, which is she was always the protector of that town, and she's seen the town being destroyed a couple of times, and she saw the humans rebuild the town over and over. And I like the idea of her saying that she does not want to go through that again. She wants to be she wants to drive the humans away and leave the town so that the town has no humans anymore, because then she would not have to suffer. I like this side of Belle as a villain. I really like it. But then we come to a big problem, in my opinion. The Time Flower. I really wish that we did not have this bad part of the Time Flower at all in the show. There's only one episode left of OTONA. Only one episode left. And I feel like no matter how they work with the Time Flower in the one episode we have left, it would not have a good outcome. I don't know. That's how I feel about it. It would not have a good outcome at all. I feel like this is just something that could have gone so much further than it did, and it just lacked so much. It's like, oh, we just have to add a limitation to the girls. We just have to add something that will make them feel limited as cures. And overall, it seems that only Cure Dream is feeling it, and I don't feel like the stakes are that high for now. And like, oh, what's actually gonna happen and such? I don't even know. But like, why at the time? I mean, I have no problem with more of a tragic storyline and such, but OTONA has been a very character-driven season of PreCure. Like PreCure, like OTONA, the narrative of OTONA is really focusing on each of the characters, their dreams, their struggles, their problems, their doubts in life. And then we add the story of Belle and the town, which is cool as well. I feel like, okay, they could have gone a little further on that, but it's still cool. And then we also add the Time Flowers in it. There's so much for only, and in a show with 8 main characters, 12 episodes for just this is too much. Like, it's too much. If the Time Flowers were not part of the show, I do understand there are some events that could have played out differently. But overall, I feel like they would have time to work with other things. And I forgot to mention one thing. When Nozomi went to fight again, when Cure Dream went to fight again with all her motivation, she started talking about the promise she did. And I really like that moment. I really, really like that moment. Because when I heard her saying the promise, I was like, okay, the Nozokoko promise. That's the promise she made. But it wasn't only that promise that she made. In the first episode, she made a promise with her student. And I absolutely loved that the show put that promise first. And then they put the Nozokoko promise. You know why? I do have my reservations about Nozokoko, even though I think that OTONA has worked with them pretty nicely. I really like how this season has dealt with the Nozokoko couple. I think it's a good one. Right now, in OTONA particularly only. But PreCure has never really been a show about romance. And if you watch Yes PreCure 5 and Yes PreCure 5 Go-Go, even though that there is a little thing between Nozomi and Coco, This was never the focus of the show. This was like, this appeared a couple of times during the show, most on Yes PreCure 5 and the Yes PreCure 5 Go-Go movie. But I feel like if you don't watch Yes PreCure 5, if you only watch Go-Go, you will barely see it there. You know, you will barely see it there. So it's like, it was a little thing. It was a little flare that was there, but it was never the focus of Nozomi's character, and it was never the focus of the show itself. So Nozomi's character, what I'm trying to say here is that Nozomi's character is much more than her relationship with Coco. Her relationship with Coco is part of her character, yes, but her character is more than just that. And this promise scene reminded me that the show has not forgotten who Nozomi is. I mean, this episode just proved that it did not forget who Nozomi is. And so they are fighting, and the time flower appears, and it stops Nozomi for a while, and then... oh my god. What was this? I was speechless. I could not speak when this scene started. I was so shocked. And I know it did not come out of nowhere. We had something last episode that brought us this. It did not come from nowhere. It's here with us for a reason. And the show did not give this as a surprise. You know, it was, but I was not expecting it to be now. I was not expecting. I don't know what to say. I love Black and White so much. They are our OGs. They are our queens. They are the legends of PreCure. You know, they are the legends of PreCure. There's not much to say. And it's funny because when they attacked the big shadow, they just kicked it. And it was stronger than anything that those girls did the whole season. You know, just to prove Black and White are strong, baby. Strong, strong, strong. They are the ones. You know, they are the ones. And I held back the tears in this moment. I held back the tears. I cannot lie. Because it was simply everything. And I just love how when they were running and when they were falling, like, they did not show their faces. They were hiding their faces. It was everything. And I also love that Nozomi knows who they are. They know who they are. You know, the All-Stars are part of the story of PreCure. How cool is this? What a moment we are witnessing. This is PreCure history being written in front of our eyes. I've said this a couple of times this year. 2023 has been the year for the PreCure franchise. And this was it, baby. This was it. I am living for this. Living. And so next week is the last episode. And I have no idea where they are going to go with the time flower thing. The preview shows a couple of things going on. It shows us Shiny Luminous. Shiny Luminous will be there. Okay, Hikari, it will be there, thankfully. And there is a lot going on in the preview. So we see the future of the girls, some of the girls. We see Urara as the angel of the plate. Very nice. But I'm very curious to see where this is going to go. I feel like Belle will try to reevaluate what she is doing and understand that driving the humans away from the town is not the answer. I hope that she realizes that there is a bigger enemy, and the enemy is capitalism. Anyways, babies, this is it for now. My opinion on episode 11. Let's keep talking about it. I'm sorry about this setting. This is not the usual setting I like doing my impressions videos. But you know, I had to do this today. Anyways, babes, this is it for now. I want to take this little time to thank the members of the Magical Cinema channel. If you are a member, thank you very much for your support. And if you've watched up until now, thank you so much as well. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye-bye.